Iran has launched a sharp verbal attack on U.S. sanctions policy, with Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmaeil Baghaei describing the measures as economic terrorism. He directly criticized U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's stance, saying the sanctions amount to the financial equivalent of a bombing campaign. Tehran argues the policy is designed to inflict pressure on civilians under the framework of diplomacy, as reported.
It is utterly abominable how policies that deliberately inflict pain and suffering on innocent people are presented with smug self-righteousness. This only reveals an inhumane mindset behind them. These are nothing short of economic terrorism and state-sponsored extortion, actions that amount to crimes against humanity and, in their cumulative effect, constitute genocide.
In further remarks, Iranian officials called the sanctions utterly abominable, accusing Washington of presenting policies that deliberately inflict suffering on innocent people with smug self-righteousness. Tehran maintains that the measures are not just economic tools, but punitive actions targeting the population, framing them as disguised coercion rather than legitimate diplomacy, as claimed. The United States is escalating its pressure campaign on Iran, this time not with bombs, but with banks. In a major strategic shift, Washington is preparing sweeping secondary sanctions, targeting not just Tehran, but any country or financial institution doing business with it. The move comes amid a fragile ceasefire and looming nuclear negotiations, but signals a decisive pivot from military confrontation to full-scale economic warfare. The expiry of key sanctions waivers on Iranian and Russian oil marks the end of flexibility and the beginning of a broader financial chokehold.
We have pushed out to them the request that we want to freeze more funds of the leadership of the IRGC and any members of Iranian leadership. The other thing that we have done is we have told countries that if you are buying Iranian oil, that if Iranian money is sitting in your banks, we are now willing to apply secondary sanctions, which is a very stern measure, and the Iranians should know that this is going to be the financial equivalent of what we saw in the kinetic activities.
At the heart of this strategy is an aggressive expansion of economic tools, targeting Iran's oil revenues, its global banking access, and even third-party nations like China and the UAE. Simultaneously, Washington is tightening the screws on Russia by refusing to renew oil sanctions waivers. The message is clear: comply or face consequences. Secondary sanctions, Washington's most powerful non-military weapon, now place allies and rivals alike in a difficult position, forcing a global recalibration of economic ties with Iran. As the U.S. simultaneously targets Iran directly and Russia indirectly through oil flows, a new phase of geopolitical conflict is emerging, where financial systems become battlefields and sanctions the weapon of choice.